Today's coverage has been brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the 2019 MotoAmerica Championship. Welcome back to live coverage of MotoAmerica here in Sonoma, California. We're at Sonoma Raceway, about 30-45 minutes north of San Francisco. It's the Cycle Gear Championship of Sonoma. One more race to go, and that is the Twins Cup action. Michael Hill, you're down trackside. Who are you with today, my friend?
Yeah, I'm down here on the grid. The sun is beating down here. It is so hot. I'm going to come across first and talk to Cooper Macdonald, the bespectacled rider, but he's got a big smile on his face, waving to the fans watching at home. Cooper, fourth row of the grid. You can fight for a good result today.
Yes, sir. Yeah, whenever I raced at Utah, I was on the same row, so hopefully I can get a good start and try to fight for a podium today.
Any thought about the first lap, keeping out of trouble? That's going to be important around here.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to take it slow and make sure we don't make any dumb mistakes, but it's such an honor to be out here with all these guys. You know, I'm learning every day, so.
Good job, enjoy. Cooper Macdonald, one of the youngest riders on the grid, his first full season. I'm coming across now to speak to my good buddy, always in camouflage down here. I haven't really had a chance to speak to him this weekend, Draik. I haven't been ignoring you, mate, honestly. You've just been super busy. Qualifying a little bit better than you did last time out at Laguna. You got fourth there from a lot worse position on the grid, so you've got to be feeling good for this one. You've got a couple of rows in front of you, but you can fight for the podium maybe today.
Yeah, hopefully we'll, get up there to the front and battle with those guys. We were struggling with a little bit of setup issue this morning, but hopefully we got that dialed in and we can get up there. Got some fresh, sticky Dunlop tires, so I'm ready to get up there and get in the fight.
And what kind of race are you expecting here? It's a very different circuit to Laguna, very different circuit to Roadracing, of course, where you're on the top step there. So what are you expecting in these laps?
This is a track that you can pass at a lot easier than Laguna per se, so I'm expecting a lot of moves to be made, so it's just going to be up to these guys and myself to, keep a cool head out there and don't take each other out and make it to the end and, get as many points as I can to keep in this championship.
Good job, right. We're going to spin the camera around. We're going to go this way. We're going to move forward, and we're going to go across down to the probably the most multicolored bike on the grid. I'm just looking at the time. We've got about 2.5 minutes before we go.
That wouldn't be the 2:13, would it?
Right, let's have a quick chat very quickly with Jason Madama. Pretty in pink down here, Jason. How are you feeling?
Oh, my God. Well, I'm by myself this weekend, and I'm just scrambling to get everything done. There's only a couple of us helping, so I don't know. I had 60 pounds in my rear tire when I came up here, man, so we're just trying to get it all sorted. But I'm just going to try and latch onto these front dudes, man. I think I can stick with them and maybe get a shot at the top of the box, man. So.
Good job, Will. Well, as you can see, it's a privateer effort. I want to very, very quickly speak to the front row of the grid. Look at this for the very first time. Joseph Blasius, he gets a hug from Sean Dillon Kelly. Can I just squeeze in just to get a quick word? Joseph, you're on the front row of the grid. I don't want to put the commentator's curse on you, but can we get a podium today? That would be the icing on the cake.
Really looking for it. I mean, Utah, I thought I had it there, but, my rear tire just went out on me, so I'm hoping I can push really hard at the beginning and get a good gap on these guys and just hold third. If not, maybe get second or first. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, well, as you can see, we've got 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. I just want the camera to spin round very, very quickly here. Just have a look at Alex Dumas, teammate to Joseph Blasius. We don't have too much time to talk to him, but a thumbs up if he's feeling good. Yep, he is. He's feeling good. Very, very confident, Alex Dumas. And, of course, the man of the moment. We've got 1 minute and 20 seconds. I think we probably will get a word with him. He's on the pole position. The camera's still just looking over there at Alex Dumas. And if we can just get the camera to follow me across here. Let's just get across to Michael Barnes. It's definitely getting a lot windy here. Michael, very quickly, I know we've got just over a minute to go. Pole position, the hard work is about to start.
Yeah, the Quarterley racing team's just been done a phenomenal job on preparing this motorcycle, and I just can't thank the whole crew enough, and Thermos Man Suspension and Dunlop Tires and everybody behind me. Looking forward to this one.
Okay, well, as you can see, we are being pulled off the grid. There's just 45 seconds to go. An action-packed full grid for Stock 1000. Robbie, I'm going to hand back to you.
Thanks a lot, Michael. Can the other Michael Barnes, make it 3 wins in 2019, coming off a couple of second place finishes, a third and 2 seconds in the last 3 rounds. Started the year with 2 victories, but Michael Barnes will set pole position. Next to him, Alex Dumas and Joe Blasius, his first podium appearance as far as the The lineup is set. Jason Madama, the colorful entry to 13 on that second row. Chris Turner and Chris Parrish, the defending champion, on that second row. Look for Curtis Murray. Draik Beauchamp, we've already heard for him just a moment ago, said there's places to pass out here. Now you can say that there's a place to pass. Now you've got to prove it and show us where you can pass. Cooper Macdonald, we talked to him just a moment ago. Already has that podium appearance back at Salt Lake City, trying to do it again. The other Ducati in the field, starting 13th there, Stephen Shakespeare, Ned Brown in the field as well. Seen him since Atlanta. Chris Lilligard, Ramsdale, Riedlinger. And working through our field, Sean Adams, Andrew Zabel, as well as my buddy Jim Whitten. That metric garage entry 127. And the fastest plastic surgeon in the field, Carl Price. Didn't qualify well, but watch out for Carl, trying to get some points here. He was close, I believe it was that Salt Lake round as well, but looking for fast Carl. And he's actually, I wouldn't be surprised if he was the one that did the chin surgery on Sean Dillon Kelly yesterday. He's already done some surgery to Chris in the Twins Cup earlier this year. There is the number 1 of Chris Parrish. Michael Hill's going to stay down there trackside. I'm going to look at it from up top here. The Twins Cup race, it's a long one for these guys. They're going to be out there for 13 laps. That's one less lap than the Stock 1000s did just a moment ago. But they're on their warm-up. They'll line back up, and then we'll get ready for racing that 13-lap event. Championship points, we have Michael Barnes out in front, 18 ahead of Draik Beauchamp. Alex Dumas third in the championship, 24 points a rear. In fourth will be Curtis Murray, and the top 5 rounding out 28 points behind Michael Barnes would be Chris Parrish, the defending champion. Can Joe Blasius, who sits in 6th, get his first podium of his career here in the Twins? Well, somebody had a exit. That's Shakespeare, it looks to be, possibly. Is that who that is? No, it's not. That is not the Ducati. Might be.
Well, Robbie, I'm down here in the pit lane. Got a load of people down here. I'm actually sat in the M4 Suzuki box. There's a lot of expectant faces down here. We've got the live pictures as well. So this could be a real interesting race, depending how it pans out, because we've got the team manager, the crew chiefs of Alex Dumas and Joseph Blasius sat literally to my left here, looking very, very intently at the screen. So we'll see how this one goes, but I think we could get some real action in the pit lane as well as on the track.
What's the last words that Rob Silva had to say to Alex Dumas before he hit the track? Can you ask him that? I'm friends with him. He'll tell you.
Yeah, I'll try, but they're in a massive discussion down here at the moment. So when I get a bit of a gap to speak to them, I will go and stick a microphone there. But they wanted to be left alone. They want to watch the start. They don't want the microphone in the face yet. They're just saying that they will talk to me once the race gets started, but they don't want to be bothered right now. It's all eyes on the start.
Green in the rear. That means that they're ready up front now. The red light goes out, and a good dump of the clutch by Alex Dumas. He's going to take the lead heading into turn 1. Underneath is Michael Barnes. Joe Blasius on that outside. He's going to be in third as they head into that right-hander, turn number 2.
And Blasius has made a really, really good start there. It's Suzuki leading Alex Dumas, and the team now all huddled around the monitor. They look a little bit more relaxed than they did before the lights went out. Michael Barnes there in second place. Up through turn 3, they're going to come over the top, and it looks to me there as though number 38, that looks like Turner, is up into 4th place there, Robbie. So a good start from the 38, and Draik Beauchamp has come through into 5th position. His dad is doing cartwheels down here on the opening lap. What a great start for Draik Beauchamp.
From 9th to 5th and literally a few turns. And yeah, I'm curious to see what Rob had to say with Dumas, because if he can get that start and get out in front, he kind of dictates that pace. I'm wondering if that was the objective. Don't stay behind Barnes, because we've seen when he gets out in front, he tends to check out, at least in qualifying in our earlier practices this week.
You know, really good to see Draik Beauchamp make that start. And that's what we said in comms, wasn't it, earlier in the weekend? I said he doesn't qualify so well, but when it comes to racing, Draik Beauchamp is a racer. And certainly one racer down here that's watching very, very intently, Robbie, is Jackson Blackman from the Liqui Moly Junior Cup. Him and Nick McFadden are staring at the screen as Michael Barnes just has a look on the inside of Alex Dumas. Jackson, you know Alex really well. You raced with him in the past. What a great start for the young Canadian.
Yeah, you know, we saw at Utah, when he gets out front, he can run really fast times, just really consistent. So I know Barney, as he goes up the inside of him in the last turn, he's going to be trying to mess up his rhythm.
Absolutely, Robbie. So I'm going to have a little wander further down. I want to get a bit closer if we can as the bikes go hollowing past me here. It's just adding to the excitement. Everybody in the grandstand looking over. But I'll hand back to you as I go and try and find Draik Beauchamp's mum and dad. We'll try and have a chat with them as this race progresses.
And as you were talking, you see that pass for the lead. Michael Barnes takes over position. Dumas and Blasius now racing for second. Barnes took advantage of a little bubble by Dumas and now is pulled out probably about a half a second advantage in only a couple of turns. So maybe Michael Barnes didn't get that start he wanted, but I think there's more throttle left in that Ducati than what we've seen. It seems like, you know, in qualifying he had a 0.6 of advantage over Alex Dumas. It was a 4.54 of David Catalina that we saw crash early on out of Lake Forest in the Riders Law Racing entry, and he's down in turn number 2. So
yeah, we've seen a few riders going down at turn number 2. And here's a replay. Yeah, just loses it. Over he goes, off in a cloud of dust. Michael Barnes then doing what we thought he may do, but Chris Ulrich, Bobby Fong, Sean Dillon Kelly, the whole M4 team are down here. I'm going to have a quick word, if I can, with Chris Ulrich, if he's you okay to talk really quick. Chris, tense moments for you. You've got the whole crew out here. Michael Barnes just pulling away at the front at the moment, but you've got to be very proud of Alex and Joseph in second and third as it stands. Good for the team.
Yeah, it's good for the SV650 program, and really proud of Joe this weekend. He's made a big step, and it's something we knew he could do. And then you know, we're working to keep Alex close or in front of Barnes. So we'll see. We still got a lot of laps to go. We'll see how Barnes does over the race distance, but you know, podiums are better than no podiums. So, but we always prefer to be on the top step. So we're just gonna keep working hard, see how it goes.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, Robbie, just keep an eye out in the background there, because Draik Beauchamp, I can't see a timing screen. I can only see the live pictures, but it looks as though Draik Beauchamp, he's now up into 4th place, and he really is putting on some good laps. He's now in that podium fight.
yeah, he's about a 1/10 of a second behind Joe Blasius. Yeah, Beauchamp's the one on the move. We're seeing this battle right now. The Chris Turner in the 38, the guy to look for on the Riders Law Racing entry out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, has some big-time pressure from Chris Parrish, the defending champion, the number 1, just behind him. And there's that race for 3rd and 4th. Joe Blasius still holding on to it. The 24 entry of the Autovest Suzuki out of Michigan. Joe Blasius still in 3rd, but Draik Beauchamp really starting to put the pressure on now. Again, Beauchamp started in 9th, worked up to 5th. Now he's up into 4th in that 77 out of Knoxville, Tennessee, AP MotoArts.
Yeah, and that's what we've said so many times, isn't it, with Draik Beauchamp? He is such a racer, but so too is Alex Dumas. The gap between him and Michael Barnes is coming down, and we could certainly see on that the last screen there. Look at that. Now we've got the picture. Michael Barnes is being caught by Alex Dumas. It's becoming two twos, isn't it? We've got the 2 leaders fighting for the win, and then we've got a second duo fighting for the podium, Robbie. This is enthralling stuff, and we're only on lap number 3.
Yeah, I think the point is, when you were talking to Chris Ulrich there, he says, we'll see how Michael Barnes is for the duration. I think they kind of know where they'll be in the setup on that bike. Can Michael Barnes keep up that pressure? Because again, those gremlins, when you're out in front, you think, okay, did I just hear something out of my motor, or am I pushing too hard and kind of putting a hurting on these tires? Because they haven't ran this many laps. They don't know how long these Dunlops will go at that pressure.
No, you're absolutely right. And interesting for me on the grid there, doing the grid walk. I do like doing the grid walk. You can ask some quite interesting questions. But Jason Madama saying there that he hasn't got his full crew with him. We were speculating during qualifying and practice, weren't we, Robbie, as to what was going wrong with Jason Madama. And he said he came down to the grid there with the wrong tire pressures. So that possibly explains why things are going wrong for Jason. Hasn't got the full crew with him. And Madama at the moment not in the top 6.
And that's, I believe it was Cooper Macdonald that might have had that case at Laguna. I think he got a real squirrely at a particular time, and I think he had umpteen pounds too many in the rear. Whoa, big wobble going down that straightaway for Draik Beauchamp. Not sure, it looked like he had already set straight, and then that bike just started wiggling underneath him. But you're right, I mean, little simple things like that. I mean, when you're off a pound or 2, it's one thing, but when you're 10 pounds or more off on a tire pressure, I mean, that's unrideable.
Yeah, for sure. And again, coming back to Draik Beauchamp, that big wobble. I've said it time and time again in MotoAmerica this year as Beauchamp has a look going down into turn 9, just has a little sniff, and no little wobble there from Blasius. No way through. This is hotting up. But just the point of Draik Beauchamp, I've said so many times, I said it also at Roadracing, if you remember, Robbie, in the commentary of that race, the bike to me doesn't look like it's completely aligned. It looks as though it's a little bit fishtaily, and not sure whether, I mean, obviously it must be okay because it's past technical control, but I wonder whether that's just the setup that he's got, or just the way he likes to ride it. But a strange setup, it seems, for Draik Beauchamp, but it's certainly not slowing him down as he has a look on the inside. No way through. You get a feeling it's just a case of if and not when for Beauchamp, who has another look on the inside. He switches back. Great racing this, Robbie, for the final podium of the weekend. And Joe Blasius has never been on the podium, so his heart rate must be through the roof.
And now he's getting the pressure from that kid just behind him as well, and Draik Beauchamp. And actually them going at it, closing in now is the one of Chris Parrish, the defending champion now. We wondered, you know, what's been the difference between last year and this year? You're starting to see Chris Parrish starting to show his old form again. He's in 5th right now, but he sees a podium spot just right in front of him, and we're, we still have more than half of this race to go. Now on the outside, Chris Parrish, big drive, goes out to in, and big drive up this hill. Look at all that momentum he carries. You know, this is the best I've seen Chris Parrish in quite a while. He started off the year
on the
with
inside of Beauchamp, no way through, but it's a 4-rider fight. It's an 8-wheeler fighting for the final podium spot. What are the lap times at the front, though, Robbie? As I said, I can't see the actual lap times, but it looks to me as though Michael Barnes has a little bit of company, because there is Alex Dumas, and Dumas is leading. Dumas is now leading, Robbie. We didn't see that. Oh, and it's a technical problem.
Yeah, there goes
Michael
the motor.
Barnes is out of this race as Beauchamp goes through into 2nd place.
And now you probably see that Road Racing World team probably all happy and giddy, but anything can happen. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched. We saw blue smoke out of Barnes, and it's when he's letting off of the throttle. Could be a seal, you know, oil coming to a certain part of that motor. I'm not sure. I don't even want to speculate too much, but he knows he's in trouble. He takes a look back. You don't want to put oil down on the track, and now he's staying out of the racing line.
Yeah, there's a black flag. There's a black flag being flown at the first corner. Michael Barnes now realizes that he's got to get off the circuit, and you see the frustration from Michael Barnes, because the championship now is wide open. Maybe you can, Robbie, just for the benefit of the viewers watching, give us a rundown of the points, because that throws the spanner right in the works of that Ducati for Michael Barnes.
Oil on the
that
header
will be
right
a
there.
0 points.
You see the oil dripping down on the header as he pulls it off to the bike. It was an 18-point advantage for Barnes in here, going 18 points ahead of Draik Beauchamp. Beauchamp now will move up into 2nd.
And Beauchamp will lead the championship then. Draik Beauchamp will lead the championship as it stands by 2 points.
Don't count your chickens, because you see that number 1. He's going to have something to say about this. Chris Parrish, if he gets by Beauchamp, if he gets by Blasius, that could actually put Alex Dumas in the championship points lead. So the way it stands right now, Dumas 19 points behind and Beauchamp 22. So there's a lot that can still happen here in the Twins Cup racing, because you're seeing 4 riders back there, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and 5th, excuse me, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, that I think they can jumble back and forth. And Dumas just trying to say, adios, my friends. I'm going to win just like I did at Salt Lake City.
Yeah, of course. Apologies to the X-Star team. I'd completely forgotten about Alex Dumas in all of that melee. Of course, he taking 25 points would leapfrog in the championship. So, wow, that is incredible. I don't know where Chris Ulrich has gone. I think he's actually hiding behind the pit wall, not wanting to watch what is going on. He's vanished. So they all now seem to be huddled in their little collective tent down here. And this would be a first, wouldn't it? The 2 M4 X-Star machines potentially on the podium. But Draik Beauchamp up into 2nd place, and Blasius drops back into 5th. But as you said, it is the reigning champion now as the dust gets kicked up from Draik Beauchamp. This is a great ride from Beauchamp, from 9th on the grid to the podium, and he's not done yet, because he can now see Alex Dumas just in front of him.
Yeah, and you see Beauchamp the last couple of rounds getting 13 and 11 points in the past, so that'd be a 4th and 6th, I think, in the past couple of rounds after coming off of those 2 podium finishes. Draik Beauchamp has a shot to possibly be the series points leader if he can stay up there near that front, and he's actually pulled a little bit of a gap on Joe Blasius and Chris Parrish back there in 3rd now. Chris Turner's actually been dropped. Don't see him quite in that picture. Going to the outside now, that's a long way around. And you see how tight they are on Beauchamp. Blasius is going to be all up in the business of Draik Beauchamp coming down this straightaway, and now Turner's actually in that picture. So they're all four are back in the mix again, but Drake's doing a great job. And he also has to be aware, if Barnes is out of this thing, don't do anything crazy, because you're really in this championship hunt.
Yeah, and I'm getting flashbacks to Utah. Just look now at the advantage of Alex Dumas. It's his race to lose now. He is streets ahead of this fighting eight-wheeler for the final podium positions. Looks as though Dumas is heading towards the 25 points. Don't want to give the commentators curse, but this really is, Robbie, an enthralling fight for the podium. As you said, Beauchamp can't afford to make a mistake. The reigning champion has got nothing to lose. Chris Turner wants to be back on the podium, and Blasius has never had a podium.
Ooh.
So many stories
dive
going
to the
on.
inside. That might be a pass for the lead, or for second place right there. You saw Blasius trying to get up there inside of Beauchamp, but he goes so tight to the inside, he loses all of that momentum, Michael. And here's your championship point standings as it is right now on the track.
Look at that.
Beauchamp 1 point ahead of Dumas. Barnes 1 point behind Dumas. And then you have Parrish now back in the mix in fourth.
That is what this championship was designed for, though, wasn't it? It was designed to create close racing. It was designed to give the youngsters the chance to mix it alongside the established stars, and it is certainly proving to be so. Beauchamp has got them swarming all over them like a rash, they are, as they go through turn 5, past the long right-hander, and then heading up towards the carousel. Different lines again. Oh, they almost touch around the carousel.
Parrish is
driving. Dear me.
Parrish is
and that is a
driving
carbon copy of what happened to Sean Dillon Kelly yesterday. We see one of the riders running off, and I think that may have been Turner.
Parrish, yeah, it was Turner. Parrish was absolutely driving around that outside. Blasius went underneath. Actually, Turner's still in there. It's Blasius that went off. That's Turner that was in the mix there for just a moment. But you saw that hard drive by Chris Parrish on the outside. He almost got a twofer there, but Draik now separating himself just a bit. But I really think Chris Parrish is the guy to look for, although he's just outside that podium spotter. Now he's into third. He's a guy I think who can get by Draik Beauchamp. He knows what it's like to win a championship.
Yeah, for sure. There's 4.5 laps to go here. 4.5 laps of this 2.2 mile circuit. You've got to feel for Joe Blasius. He was hung out to dry there, and there is a Beauchamp ultimate. Oh, they touch! They touch at the final corner. 3 abreast doesn't go, and you go from 4th up into that 2nd position. Well, Joe Blasius can keep watching this as they still go wheel to wheel down into turn 1. Oh, 3 abreast into 1. Watch the cones, and they almost touch again. Robbie, I've never seen racing like this at Sonoma. What a cracking race.
You're exactly right. You saw Chris Turner as well taking a different line, going outside to in, inside to out, and they're going back and forth, and it allows Alex Dumas. He's turning 143 lap times, where you have Draik Beauchamp 145, 146 range. He's pulling away 3 seconds a lap. If you're Alex Dumas, you need to get that pit board out going, hey, don't ride over your head.
Yeah, sorry to cut across you there. Just looking at the lines that Chris Parrish is taking, I'm all for aggressive racing, but he's taking some very, very extreme lines. Look at the corner speed of Chris Parrish as he goes around the outside of Draik Beauchamp. Surely he's not going to... down he goes. That was an accident waiting to happen. I called it. I said the lines he was taking, the speed that he was trying to push, and the punishment doesn't fit the crime. But Robbie Floyd, that was just waiting to happen. You could see that. He was overriding that twin like I've never seen anybody ride before. There was no way he was going to make that turn.
How many times had we seen, and we talked about how Parrish literally drove around the outside the lap before. He tries doing the same thing all by himself, albeit, but he pushed that bike and those Dunlops beyond their capability. Watch him.
Here it is, look, he's around the outside now. He's probably in 3rd gear, and there she lets go. And he did the right thing there. He didn't try to fight it. He slides down, was lucky not to be collected with the bike, but it's game over, 0 points. And as I said, he was definitely on the limit there, and unfortunately over the limit at the carousel with 4 to go.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for the defending champ there in that case, but Draik Beauchamp taking advantage of it. Now he only has one guy to worry about, and that is Chris Turner on the 38. So Draik Beauchamp going for another podium this year. That would be his third podium in the last 6 rounds. Excuse me, last 5 rounds.
And Robbie, again, I can't see a screen, but I don't see I was just saying, I don't see Blasius, but he is on the screen there. Where's he dropped back to? Where is Blasius?
Blasius still in fourth, but it's his differential that he just lost too much time. Unless something happens to the guys in front of him. You know, when he lost ground and they made that one mistake, he pretty much dropped out of that picture. Question is now, can Chris Turner catch up to Draik Beauchamp? I think Beauchamp's in a good spot. He's got a few second, about 2 second advantage, it looks like now, over Turner. Whoa!
Oh, and he's almost on the floor as well, coming out of the carousel. Sorry to cut across you there, Robbie. Well, if we thought that Beauchamp was just going to take it easy and settle for second,
is it tires?
That's a clear indication that he's not.
Is it tires? I know some people question, is there oil or something there, but we haven't seen these guys push on these tires for that long at this pressure. It's their only race. That might be a case of finally putting the hammer down, and that bike's just not able to hold it. We saw just a moment ago the number 1 of Chris Parrish pushing it a little bit too hard. Maybe Beauchamp's saying this is a little bit too hard as well.
I mean, I think when you come out of turn 5, there is a little seam there where the two different types of tarmac, they meet each other, and I wonder whether he just got a little bit unsettled there. It certainly couldn't have been any oil, because if it was oil that had been dropped from Chris Parrish, it would have been on a completely different line. So it definitely wasn't oil, maybe tires, but I think it's just where the two bits of tarmac join, and Beauchamp maybe just a little bit tighter than he needed to be. He crosses the line in front of me down here with 3 to go. His mum and dad willing him on as he goes down into turn 1. And there's a nice little fight going on then for that podium. Joseph Blasius still in 4th place, and Madama with the problems. I think
it's Blasius in actually
up
3rd
into 5th
now.
place. Yeah, that's looking good.
Blasius in 3rd with Chris Turner just behind him. So I know you were really talking up Joseph Blasius, trying to get on that podium, and things have happened in front of him. He's still in that podium spot right now, but that 38's trying to have a little something to say about that.
Yeah, well, Blasius was down in 4th, so there's something clearly happened with Chris Turner that we haven't seen, because Blasius now back on the podium, and I'm just walking more now from the pit lane up towards the Suzuki crew and getting ready to go into winner's circle, and I can tell you what, there are a lot of anxious-looking people down here. This would be the first double podium for the twins, for Chris Ulrich's team this season, in fact, I think of all time, so there's a lot of nervous faces, a lot of anticipation for a big winner's circle party in a few laps time.
The pressure from Joe Blasius there as he's closing in on Draik Beauchamp. That's the race for second. Beauchamp still an advantage. That last time around, what, about 1.8 seconds? That's not 1.8 now. I've had word that Sean Adams out of Texas at Century Trucks and Vans is down.
Oh, and Beauchamp a bit deep into turn 9 there, just clipped the curb on the way out, and you're absolutely right, that is not what 1.8 seconds, and I'm literally stood feet away from Chris Ulrich. They're looking at the live timing, everybody down here looking on, and Joseph Blasius is a man rejuvenated in the final couple of laps here. This is a great ride from Joe Blasius, heading towards his first pro podium, and that is not 1.8 seconds, it is 0.4 of a second between Joe Blasius and Draik Beauchamp. Are we going to see a Suzuki X-Star 1-2, Robbie Floyd? You've got to say, if you're a betting man, get your money on Joe Blasius, because he is going to ride around Draik Beauchamp as they come down into turn 3.
I think Beauchamp's bike, that Yamaha, maybe it didn't hold on to those tires or treat those tires so well. It looks like the 24 of Joe Blasius might have a little bit left in the tank, a little bit left in those Dunlop tires. Beauchamp had to work his way from 9th up into 2nd. Blasius started on that front row. He said, I'm going to try and hold on to 3rd, but you know what? Maybe 2nd, maybe 1st. Well, he's exactly right. He's holding on to 3rd, but he's really putting the pressure on for 2nd.
And it's just going to be an sort of a lunge, I think, is what the best way we can describe it.
Draik Beauchamp is losing grip. He is wiggling, coming up and driving up those straightaways. I don't think those Dunlops are where he wants them right now. He put a hurting on them early in this race, and you're going to see that. If you're Joe Blasius, you know you keep putting this pressure, you're going to get the pass.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I come back to what I said earlier. I don't think that the reason the bike is wobbling is because of the tires. I think it's the alignment of Draik Beauchamp's bike. And I know I wear contact lenses, but I'm absolutely convinced that is the problem. There's definitely tire issues for Chris Turner, because he has now dropped way behind this fight. So he's definitely burnt his tires. Beauchamp is riding hard. The white flag is waved then to Alex Dumas as he goes past me on the start and finish straight. There he goes then, 1 lap away from another victory, and all eyes will be on Joe Blasius. It's going to be a very emotional Joe Blasius if he does. Oh, they're side by side, Robbie, as they come across the line.
It's still going to be Beauchamp across the line. That advantage literally next to nothing. driving up into that uphill left-hand turn, and Blasius is going to get a good run. Again, going now towards 2. He's not going to be able to have it happen right here. I think that carousel, how much do you want to push it in the carousel, might be an opportunity for Blasius.
No, I completely agree. You took the words out of my mouth. He's going to sit behind Draik Beauchamp. He's going to follow him through 3, over the little flip-flop, down into 4, hard on the brakes. You don't need to make the move there because you're going to give Draik Beauchamp an opportunity. But look at the corner speed. He's got way more grip. Mid-corner speed. Again, he looks on the inside. It's going to be coming out of the carousel is where I think Joe Blasius is going to make the move down into maybe turn 7.
Right here. He's doing the out to end.
Right.
He's doing the out to end, Michael. He went outside, got that drive, and he's still putting the pressure on. There it goes. Blasius on the outside. He's got to make that left sometime, get underneath him. You just got to get half of your bike there, and you control the situation. Hard into this downhill right-hand turn. Couldn't happen there.
Yeah, it's this is coming down to the last couple of corners. There's only really 2 real opportunities left for Joe Blasius. He's going to be on the podium whatever happens, which would be a career first for the rider. But as they come down through the flip-flop, they've got a back marker in front of them. Oh, this could be a disaster as they come down. Draik Beauchamp goes on the inside. Does the back marker give Joe Blasius room?
Ooh.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. That has sealed the fate. The back marker ruins it for Blasius. Blasius not confident enough to stick it up the inside. Alex Dumas is going to win here at Sonoma, and he does. He punches the air, but let's keep an eye here as we look through the final corner. It is going to be second place for Draik Beauchamp and a career first podium for Joseph Blasius, who crosses the line now. What a result. And again, Robbie, I'll hand back to you in a second for the results. I've got Chris Ulrich next to me. And Chris, is that a tear I see in your eye underneath those sunglasses?
Not quite, but I'm pretty happy about the Alex rode great, and Joe, I'm really happy for Joe. He's been working very hard this year, and you know, now Alex is 1 point out of the championship lead right now, and from where we started to where we are, we've been working very, very hard to bring a spec that of SB650 that could win. And now we have 2 guys on the podium, so proud of the guys, proud of the riders. So happy for Joe to get his podium, so happy for Alex to get a second win.
Good job. And I tell you what, Robbie, Chris Ulrich is a liar. He needs a Kleenex. There's a little tear there. There is a little tear, and rightly so. What a race, Robbie. I'll hand back to you as I head over to Winner's Circle.
Yeah, and we'll go
to get ready to talk to the top 3.
We'll go over the official points here in just a moment, but he kind of alluded to it with that second place. If Joe Blasius could have gotten by Draik Beauchamp, Alex Dumas would be the points leader, but because Beauchamp actually held on to second, he will have that at least 1 point advantage over Alex Dumas now as they head to the 8th stop of this 10 race tour. And you see thumbs up, fist bumping, wheelie time for Draik Beauchamp. He's happy. I mean, it's been a few races since he's been back up on that podium. And after Roadracing, I thought we'd see more of Draik Beauchamp on the podium, but had a couple of off races. I say that, but he still held on to second. But Beauchamp with 11 and 13 points respectively after that victory, and also round 3 where he had a podium finish in 3rd. But what a run by Alex Dumas. He actually apologized earlier to me when I talked to him today and said, man, I'm sorry about, Salt Lake. It wasn't much of a race for the fans. And I'm like, man, do you think Jeremy McGrath ever apologized for kicking everybody's tail in Supercross back in the year as you're looking at the defending champ not able to complete this race? Chris Parrish, who went down big time after trying to go too fast at the wrong place on that outside line and lost grip with those tires. Too much lean angle at that speed. And he's got to have a couple of weeks to think about, especially tonight, what he could have done a little bit different. But Chris Parrish is going to have to walk home or get a ride on the wagon back to the truck. But the 16 of Alex Dumas, the fastest out there on the road racing world. Young Guns entry, the Suzuki, a 12.5-second victory over Draik Beauchamp. Joe Blasius less than a second behind as well. And there's really the winning moment for Alex Dumas, because now I want to think back, and I talked to Michael Hill earlier because I heard somebody ask me, say, hey, did you hear anything about knocking or some sounds coming out of Michael Barnes's motor? And they asked me that this morning, and I'm like, nope, but maybe they were right. Maybe they did hear something out of that Ducati. And it's unfortunate because Ducati North America up here in Northern California. But, yeah, he literally sees that championship points advantage slip away. And he goes from, I believe, 1st to 3rd in the championship points. But still, A few more rounds to go for Michael Barnes. This championship is far from over, but you give that momentum to Draik Beauchamp and Alex Dumas, anything can happen with Pittsburgh, New Jersey, and Barber Motorsports still ahead. So they put the 111 on the wagon. That's not how they wanted to end their day on the Quarterley Racing entry, but there's not much Michael Barnes can do as far as a mechanical failure on that Ducati, but the monster's going to have to fight another day. It didn't happen here at Sonoma. Alex Dumas, congratulations, bud, taking a victory, another victory here, his second of the season. As we take a look at the finishing results for the twins, Alex Dumas with that 12-second advantage over Beauchamp and Blasius. Madama holding on to a top 5 spot. Daniel Adams, good job for the 177. Good to see him up inside that top 10. Cooper Macdonald works his way into 8. Tolchinsky in the top 9 as we take a look at the second page. Chris Lilligard with a top 10, the other Ducati of Steven Shakespeare. I still think that might have been him that went off in that siding lap, but he's able to finish in 11th. My buddy Carl Price getting some points. Jim Whitten in 16th, just outside, but good to see Carl Price. I talked about at the start of the race, maybe he can work his way up in there in the plastic surgery racing entry. In 15th, that's good enough for 1 championship point. Followed by his buddy Jim Whitten, David Catalina in 17th place. So as Alex Dumas makes his way over to the victory podium, the Quebecois going to be happy after another victory and also closing in on that championship. And you talk about streaks. You stand on that row, you want momentum on your side. And this is 4 races in a row where Alex Dumas has finished on the podium. If it wasn't for that non-start back at round number 3, he would be well ahead in that championship points hunt. But a DNS at that 3rd stop really put a hurting on his championship point hunt, but he's only going to be 1 point behind Draik Beauchamp, again, by unofficial tally in this Cycle Gear Championship of Sonoma. Let's go down to Michael Hill, who is with Alex.
I am with Alex, or as I now call him, the lawnmower, of course. So we did a great feature with him earlier in the weekend. He talked about his line round the carousel. You weren't just inch perfect round the carousel today, you were inch perfect around the whole 2.2 mile circuit. What a win. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you very much. I had so much fun. My Barnes was just so fast. I was having a hard time to keep up, and I saw Puff of Smoke. And I was like, maybe his engine's out, and I was happy when he pulled off, and I just took home the win. I'm really happy.
Yeah, you look really happy. So congratulations. We'll see you on the podium. We'll see you at pit race.
Thank you.
And no apologies from Alex Dumas for kicking their tail this time with that 12.5-second victory. Very much like we saw back at Salt Lake in Miller Motorsports out there, but it was this time it was Alex Dumas. Unfortunately for Michael Barnes, he said he was so fast, but you got to keep that machine together. But wheelie all around for Alex Dumas, taking his second victory of the 2019 season. Draik Beauchamp, unofficially by my count, he should be the new points leader, and another podium finish for him, Michael.
Yeah, I don't know whether he knows this yet, but Draik Beauchamp, you're the new points leader in the Twins Cup Championship in MotoAmerica. We talked about it, we joke with you, I know you quite well. We say you got to work on your qualifying, but man, oh man, can you race a motorcycle. Great job today, 9th to P2.
Thank you very much. You know, after the beginning of the start, you know, I got to thank Andy Palmer for making a fast freaking bike. That thing got me up there into a 4th or 5th position and gave me the advantage I needed to be able to chip off and to get to people. And, you know, I was thinking, okay, 3rd will be a good salvage for everything that's going on. And then it came up that, you know, Barnes fell back, and I was like, oh, man, this is game. I got to get 2nd to get more points. So I did, and I'm stoked to be the championship leader now. You know, this is awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. You can see what it means to him, Robbie. A happy Draik Beauchamp here in Winner's Circle.
Yeah, and a couple of guys that come from the juniors now leading the championship points in the Twins Cup race. And it was a hard-fought battle. I mean, Draik Beauchamp had Joe Blasius all in his business, as well as Chris Turner. Chris Parrish as well, but he fought them all off and held on to 2nd, and that is going to keep him in the championship points lead, or put him in that championship points lead. Congratulations to the 77 on that AP MotoArts entry. Now the points leader, but Joe Blasius, he was looking to hold on to 3rd. He almost did a little bit better than that, but he still gets his first podium finish of 2019.
He did indeed get his first podium of the season, and he was just saying there where he came in, he went, man, I'm exhausted. That was a great race, but I tell you what, you were lucky there. There was a moment up at the carousel. Just talk us through that, and then just talk us through your feelings. Your first podium of the season. Great job.
Yeah, you know, I was just trying to catch up to Draik, and I was just, you know, thinking I was going to go on the outside, and then Parrish came on the outside, shut the door on me, and I had to brake check myself. I mean, he almost hit my front tire. Went completely out to the air fence, almost lost the front. I was like scrolling around, motocrossing it out there, and at that point I just got really mad and just started late braking into every corner, and then I slowly but surely I was like, man, I'm catching these guys, and I was like, I think I can do this. And then I got by Turner, and I was like, man, I think I got Draik. And then I was right all along Draik the whole time. I had, you know, meanwhile I'm bumping around coming out of the last turn, and it's just because of that, I think because of the that lapper, I just couldn't get around him. And at that point, I was like, man, I don't want to push it into this last turn and just wad it. So I just played it safe and thought maybe I'll get a good drive. And unfortunately, I didn't. But I'm so excited to be here right now. I mean, M4 put on a great bike. I've been wanting this all year. Utah was like my chance, and I kind of screwed it up. But now I redeemed myself.
You certainly did. You didn't screw it up today. Congratulations. And Robbie, don't you just love the emotion of a first-time podium finisher? Great scenes down here from Joe Blasius. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, the top 5 is his best finish back at round 3. But yeah, Joe Blasius, yeah, he dropped back a bit, but now you hear what happened. You know, that run in by Chris, and that kind of made him angry. And he was still back a ways, but he realized he could go a lot faster than he was going and pushed his way up into 3rd place, almost 2nd place. Let's take a look at the championship point standings now. We don't have to use my, you know, sketchy math. Let's take a look at this. Draik Beauchamp has a 1-point advantage over Alex Dumas, and Michael Barnes only 2 points behind Draik Beauchamp. Look at how tight it is, and don't count out Curtis Murray. We saw how fast he was. Curtis Murray still in the mix. Chris Parrish now, you know, unfortunately for him, he drops back 30 points a rear, but Joe Blasius is still looking to possibly move inside that top 5, and don't count him out for a top 5 finish. And maybe even a possible win before we can close out this season. But before we can close out the season, we have to make it to Pittsburgh. That's our next round of the MotoAmerica Championship of Pittsburgh on FS2. You can watch it August 24th and 25th at both 5:30 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and always on MotoAmerica Plus. You can watch it live on the 24th and 25th of August starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, the Championship of Pittsburgh.